Hello everybody, so today DaDaBIK version 12.7 is out. If you follow DaDaBIK since a long time, you know that at some point we started publishing a new video presenting each minor version. That was the Dada release series. At some point I stopped that because I thought it was not so useful to discuss every minor release on video. But for this release I wanted to do it mainly because I want to discuss one of the new feature and how we should, if we should invest time improving that feature, that area, in particular the public facing features of DaDaBIK. But well, let me introduce the new version first. First of all, obviously this is a video for both DaDaBIK users and AppifyText.ai users, because AppifyText.ai is an AI agent that uses DaDaBIK to build artificial intelligence and DaDaBIK to build applications. So when DaDaBIK is updated, at some point this will impact also AppifyText. All right. So there is in this release there is a huge security enhancement related to passwords. I strongly recommend to upgrade your DaDaBIK installations, and about that you'll find all the details in the changelog, and I will add the changelog to the changelog link to the description. So I don't want to discuss that in the video because there are a lot of details there. Apart from that, there are, as usual, several fixes and changes, new features, but the main new features are two: stat cards and public facing features. Stat cards, let's start with that. So this is a draft of a library application because I wanted to I have an idea about publishing again, so doing the video about creating a library management application with AppifyText. So I'm playing a little bit with this application, and I will use it to present the new features. So here we have some books generated by AppifyText, by the way, and let's generate a chart. You probably know this generate chart feature because it's available since long time, but now you have an additional chart type, stat card. So sometimes you just need to show a number without aggregating your records. For example, maybe you just want to, well, let me show another dashboard. For example, this is a classic chart, right? So books, how many books we have for each genre, and this was available since many years. But let's say that you just want to show a number, like for example the number of books you have. That's pretty simple, but so far we haven't a dedicated card, a dedicated chart for that. Now with stat card you can, for example, show the count and generate chart, and we have 5 books. Obviously this is something that you can compute as you want, from here. You can also use this URL and attach it to a page, if you want to pre-compute the pre-fill, and so in some way pre-compute the value, and you can also embed this number, and this is what I'm going to do in a moment, in a dashboard, or in general in another page, in a custom page. You have count, you have sum, average, min. So for some of the functions, you also need to choose the field. So min, for example, publish date contains the publication year, so it makes sense. So the oldest book in our library was published in this year, for example. Okay, and you can also use advanced SQL report. Let me give you an example. So, well, this is a classic library management application. So we have books, we have authors, genres, and we have obviously loans. So members of the library can take books. They have a due date, and there is also a return date. Let's say, for example, we want to show here stat card. We want to show how many loans we had today so far. Okay, and we want to do it in SQL. Well, we can do it. Select count from loans where date loan equal to card date. This is a MySQL function returning the today's date. Okay, nice. An error, let me check. Maybe I just have an error here. Oh, this is loan date. Okay, one. There's only one loan today. Okay, let me go back to the other example, because I want to I prepared a card here in my dashboard, and I want to show here the number of books. So we don't need SQL. Sorry, again, we don't need SQL, start card, and we count. Okay, show embed code. I copy the embed code, and then pages, custom pages, dashboard. Okay, here I want to add my number of books available. So let me check the source code, and we replace this with this and save. And as you can see, we have 5 books. Okay, dashboard, 5 books. Obviously, as the other charts, this is recomputed every time you open this page. So if now I add a book and I reload this page, I will see 6. And there's another interesting property for this stat card. Let me show here. So as you can see, I don't know if you will see that, but this value has an attached CSS class, books underscore count, meaning the count of the table books. So according to the table you are using, the function you are using, the class will change. This allows you to customize each stat card in your application. So for example, let's say we want this I don't know, bigger and in red. Okay, books count. So layout, CSS, class books count, and let's say that the font size is 10 and the color is red. Here we go. Okay, this. This is a little new feature, but could be very, very useful, especially for dashboards. Second feature I want to discuss is this one. You will find it here, permission public access. So sometimes when people see DaDaBIK applications, they say, well, that's awesome. I mean, the back end is awesome, but where is the front end? And that's a legit question. The thing is that I think that very often, but I want to hear your voice here, but very, very often DaDaBIK is used to create applications that are just internal tools, okay? So they don't have a so-called public face. Some other times, well, they have a public face, but it's just about, the permissions you want to give to a specific user, for example, and you don't want to have a completely different interface. The standard interface is fine. You just want to customize the permissions you grant to, let's say, the guests of your applications. I've never invested much time in creating, specific public-facing features, because I think that, in a way, if you want to create a completely different face for your application, public face, you can use another tool, for example, because the database used by this data library, for example, is a standard MySQL database. So on the top of that, you can have a WordPress website, for example, or you can use any other CMS. You can write your own code to build your own website based on that database for the general public. However, maybe you want to have the possibility to work a little bit with DaDaBIK, providing also a so-called public face. So the only thing you could do so far was adding a public username, and you could do it from your configuration file. And if you set that configuration parameter, I think the name was username public user, then the application was accessible even without logging in, and the public user got the permission the user you set as public user had, and that makes sense. Okay, now you can still do that, but you can do it from here, from the dev area. Well, by the way, this used to be the admin area, but now it's called dev area. I think it's more meaningful as a name. So now you can leave this empty. This is by default. If you always need a login to access your application. Otherwise, and this is what I want to show, you can say public user act as, in this case, public. What is public? Well, public is just a username. Okay, I created a group called public, and in this group I created a user called having username public. But this is just to simplify things from the naming point of view, but you can call the group and the user as you want. The thing is that here we are saying that without login, the user gets the permission of the public user. So this one, okay? And then I gave, particular permission to the public group. In my case, I only give I only gave read permissions on books. Okay, so let's say that we want to open our application also to non-authenticated users, but just to browse the books. Another thing you can do is remove some typical internal tool features. For example, here I can hide advanced features to the public user, like chart, pivot table, import and export. I can also hide the left menu or the top bar. Does it make sense? Well, sometimes it makes sense because if you only have, for example, in this case, books, having the left menu is not very useful for the public user. Okay, so we can do this. Also, another thing you can do is you can create, so let's say that well, let me show what happens if I logged out. Okay, so I'm logged out, and this is what the public user will see. So very clean interface, only the Omni search and the list of the books. Okay, but we can do more. Okay, so what we can do is to create for books, or maybe for just a view of books, a different data grid template. So maybe we don't want our public user to see the classic grid. We want something, nicer. So we can create our own layout data grid template. Let me show. So first of all, starting from this version, here you have a much more modern example of data grid template. Okay, so this is based on a library, but we have to basically change the field names, because this is just an example with standard field names, but in our case the field names are different. So for example, we don't have cover book, but it's just cover. We don't have title book, we have title. For author we have ID author, and for year I don't remember honestly. This was year. Okay, year is fine. Year, and we have ID genre. Okay, all right, save. Okay, wrong table. This is not for authors. This is not for authors. This should be for books. Okay, books, authors. So, okay, I made some mistakes, but I think we are good. Okay. As you can see, now we have a much more nice way to display the books, and we can a strategy to still use the standard grid for everybody except from the public user is to create a view based on books, give to the public user the permissions, read permissions only on that view, and set the data grid only for that view. In this way, authenticated people will still see the standard data grid, while public user will see something like this. Okay. All right, so this is what I wanted to tell you basically, and please tell me if you think we should invest more time on public facing features. I would like to know if you are using your DaDaBIK applications also for non-authenticated users, so more public applications, and in case you think we should invest more time on that, if you have if you want to propose ideas about how to work on that, so which features you would like to see, they are very welcome. Okay, so that's it for today. See you next time. Ciao.